Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Time for some tough love here, guys. People who run from the cops are stupid. Well, it's snowing here today in Alabama, which in my world means that it counts as 2 days of winter in one, because it's not just cold, it's cold and miserable. But I hope you'll forgive the rather informal wear here. So, one of the things that I tell people when I teach the law of self-defense is don't make your lawyer's job more difficult than it really is. It's already difficult to represent somebody who's charged with a crime because the public generally has this preconditioned belief that if the police arrest you, you must have done something. And of course, that's not always true. But one thing you do when you wear t-shirts that say, "Keep honking, I'm reloading," or have bumper stickers that say, "Keep honking, I'm reloading," is you create the idea that you just can't wait to shoot somebody. And so I tell self-defenders, look, don't do that. I actually laugh every time I see that bumper sticker, but I'm not a prosecutor and I'm not a juror. I'm unlikely to be either one of those things. And so I think it's important to understand that those things can work against you. And the one thing that works against you more than almost anything else is flight to avoid prosecution. Because it's generally accepted that the only people who run from the police are the people who are guilty. And as a result of that, being scared of the police, and I'm sure that's true, I'm sure a lot of times when people run, they're just scared of the police because they believe this sort of rhetoric that says police just routinely shoot people for no reason, which isn't true. But the bottom line is that if you run, you are pretty much going to assure that you're going to be convicted on the other things that the police are after you for. So today we're going to take a look at a couple of vignettes here of videos where individuals have run from the police and what happened as a result. Okay, the first video here is from KTLA television in Los Angeles, and I want you to notice one thing at the very beginning. This armed suspect who is fleeing from the Glendale police is not only being pursued by the police for arrest, but he's being pursued by KTLA for ratings. The likelihood that this individual is going to escape is pretty scarce. So let's take a look at how this all comes about at the end.
Suspect outdrives their talent. You see just weaving through lanes there, jumping all the way over from the 1 lane to the 4 lane on their brakes hard, and just now stuck in that afternoon traffic here, just squeezing, threading that needle there between those cars. The Glendale Police Department is just trying to keep up at this point, but with the erratic nature of this driver, it's going to be hard to do because those police officers have to put the safety of the public first, and the way that's right, and what we're hearing is that, you know, backing off of this pursuit hasn't really seemed to slow down this suspect. The suspect is simply wanted for a traffic violation starting probably 30 minutes ago, and it's just the suspect has just kept driving quite erratically since then. You can see it kind of doing that loop there through that residential area. Luckily, not a lot of people are just, wow, just missing those cars into that power line there. Wow, okay. That is quite the ending to this pursuit.
Most of the people who engage in a life of crime are not NASCAR drivers, meaning they don't know how to control a car under conditions where they are accelerating and turning and doing the kinds of things that people normally do if they have to flee from the police. And so as a result, particularly when you're driving a vehicle that's not made for this kind of thing, crashes like that one are very, very common. In this next video, we get treated to the opportunity to see somebody try to run from the police in a Nissan or a Hyundai. I don't think they ever said exactly which of those two it was. But the speeds were up around 85, 90 miles an hour.
90 miles an hour at a 65. Speeds was 25 right now, no traffic.
And these folks broke every possible law you can break in trying to flee from the police. They ran through barriers, they did all kinds of really stupid things, and then at the end, they bailed. Now, one of the people who bailed, it looks like, got clean away, although the information that I have is that there were two people who were booked and arrested. But one of the people who was in the car tried to get out and was arrested at the scene by the deputies. When he jumped out of the car was still in gear and it was still running, and it continued to run for about 300 feet until it, I guess, landed against a tree. But again, the police have so many things that they can do to stop a fleeing driver. They have stop sticks now. They can throw out these things that are basically a bunch of hollow nails that deflate your tires pretty quickly. And you don't get far on your rims because you don't get any traction on your rims. And once they get your tires, it's just a matter of sit back and wait for you to stop the car, because you're going to stop the car. That's just the way life works with one of these things. So, again, they're making their own life harder by running away from the cops. Even if these two had warrants, traffic warrants or some other kind of warrant, they'd have been far better off to just pull over and not add all of the charges, fleeing and eluding, among them. So, again, don't make your lawyer's job harder. But the next video is the one that really takes the cake. These people are running from the police in an RV.
Get your hands behind your back now! Put your hands behind your back!
Okay, I can see running from the cops in a Maserati. I can see running from the cops in a Ferrari. I can see running from the cops in a Porsche. But a recreational vehicle, a Winnebago, come on. How far are you going to get? And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but the pullout was about halfway out there toward the end. And the cops kept trying to pit this thing, and when they finally did pit him, they put him up in a yard. And then when the guy got out and ran, they sicked the dog on him. It's just not the way to end your day. It would have been far better for him to just pull over. So here are my suggestions for people who might have a problem with the law and who might be pulled over. Don't run. It makes things worse. It always makes things worse. Even if you get away today, you are not going to get away forever. They are going to find out who you are, and they're going to catch you. The thing that amazes me is that every one of these vehicles, every one of these police cars has one of these, a radio. And they talk on it and tell the other cars where these people are. And so at the end of the day, you are not running from the cop behind you. You're running from the police officers, the sheriff's department. You're running from the game warden if he's in the area. You're running from the state troopers. You're running from the water patrol. You're running from anybody with a badge that you run by. You're going to be running from them. And you're going to keep running from them until they catch you, and eventually they are going to catch you, and then it's just going to be so much worse. So, again, as a public service, do not run from the police. And I would add one thing, because a lot of these folks are such hideous drivers and have used such awful judgment in these matters. They wind up running from the police and crashing into someone else. And oftentimes those crashes are fatal. If you're involved with the police, even if you've got a warrant, just stop, submit, get it taken care of, and then go on about living your life. Because as I said the other day, when the police finally do get up with you, it's never a convenient time. You're on your way to your daughter's dance recital, or you're on your way to a doctor's appointment. And what happens? You get pulled over, and that's when they have you. So again, if you've got a warrant, go take care of it. Don't run from the police, because you might be able to run from the cop behind you, but you can't outrun his radio. If you've enjoyed this, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go over here and subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified whenever we release a video on this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a terrific day.